Broad Street Review podcast, Philly's online hub for arts, culture, and commentary, where art and ideas meet. I am your host, Darnell Radford. On today's podcast, meet Austin Nedrow, who plays Christopher Boone in Walnut Street Theater's production of The Curious Incident of a Dog in the Nighttime. I spoke with Austin about turning 18 on opening night, being a triplet, college plans, and juggling the demands of a regional production, all while finishing senior year of high school. So what are you doing with your life? Here's my interview with Austin Nedrow. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and today I'm in the Langworthy Lounge at Walnut Street Theater, and I am here to talk about The Curious Incident of a Dog in the Nighttime. And I'm here with the lead, even though it's a great ensemble. But I'm here with the kid who plays Christopher Boone. I'm here with Austin Nedrow. Austin, welcome to Rep Radio.
Thank you, Darnell. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
So not only was it cool to see The Curious Incident of a Dog in the Nighttime in the regional stage, it was also cool to be there opening night because it was also your 18th birthday.
Yes, it was. I turned 18 on opening night, and I'm actually a triplet, believe it or not. So all three of us, we turned 18 on opening night, March 20th. It was exciting.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Is it all boys or boys, girls?
Funny, I mean, with triplets, usually it's a set of 2 and 1. So I have 2 sisters.
Okay.
And so they were all there. My whole family was there. We got to celebrate, and it was really fun.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Special night.
Oh, you should have pulled them up on stage.
I know.
Actually, there's 2.
I know. Can you believe? Yeah, that should have.
Yeah. So, whenever a young adult hits the stage, or whenever a pet hits the stage, it's always like, oh, amazing. And then you're like, wait a minute, they got chops.
It's a beast. It's a big show, and not that Dublin, who amazingly plays my dog Sandy. Not that she doesn't steal a show, because she surely does.
Yeah.
But no, it's a wonderful play.
She's the least amount of work too. She just shows up. She's like,
oh, she gets everything.
She's pampered.
She's
backstage.
Wonderful. Oh yeah. No, I mean, I'm very lucky to get to work with this incredible group of people and do this wonderful play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're local. You're Lancaster area?
So I'm a senior at Conestoga Valley High School in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I'll graduate this May with my sisters.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited.
It would be really sad if you didn't graduate.
Yeah. No, my high school.
Sorry, it was this show there and I can't.
Yeah. No, they've been super accommodating, and they know how cool of an experience this is for me.
Yeah.
But no, Lancaster is like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour drive to Philadelphia, so really not too bad.
Well, I feel like Philadelphia wants to claim the lower half of Pennsylvania anyway. So it's just like if you're anywhere within like the 5 counties or like the near, maybe like the 20 or 30 mile radius, it's just like Philadelphia, right? You're from Philly, right?
Yeah. No, but luckily enough, I'm staying here in Philly for the entire run, so that's been a really fun experience. And so I'll go back on my days off and take my EpiGov tests and catch up on schoolwork. And spend the day in Lancaster with my family.
And I saw some photos. I guess you were touring colleges.
I did, yeah. I went through the entire college audition process, which is crazy for musical theater students.
Yeah.
And so I auditioned for like 15 colleges. And now I'm in the process of deciding, where to go, which is exciting.
Can't you just say, I'm on stage at Walnut Street Theater?
You wish. Wouldn't that be cool?
Talking at the nighttime. Maybe you've heard of it.
Oh, man. If only it was that easy.
I know.
No, we have like 2 contrasting songs, 2 contrasting monologues.
You're only as good as you are right now.
Yeah.
So tell me how you first got bit by this bug.
This theater bug. Yeah. It's basic. I mean, it's kind of a funny story because my sister had started in theater, and she had done a high school musical at our high school, Sound of Music, and she had played Gretel. And we were doing chores around the house, and she was expressing how much she missed the cast and how hard it was to memorize all her lines. And I'd swam growing up, played lacrosse. Theater was not something that I was interested at all. And I was Lindsay, theater's easy, anyone could do it. She was like, well, then you do it, and then you do it. So it was that dare that started this whole adventure, and we were both in 5th grade, and that next spring we both did The Music Man together at our high school. I was Winthrop and she was Amaryllis. And from there, I mean, I got bitten by the bug and started working regionally and locally and professionally, and I've been doing that consistently for the past 6 years.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're also a dancer too.
I do, yeah. It's interesting, in this business where how you categorize yourself, and but no, I love dancing, and it's definitely one of those things that is under the umbrella of theater and being a storyteller. Well,
it wouldn't make sense for you to be a good actor and a good dancer if you didn't sing as well.
Yeah. It's all of that. I definitely because I started theater so young, I get to work with a lot of professional performers and artists in this industry, and so often they would say, "You're young, so, start doing this now."
Yeah.
Start, whether it was dancing or it was picking up instruments, and so I like to consider myself, kind of a jack of a couple trades.
Yeah. In general, we just say, "I'm a theater artist."
I'm a theater artist. Yeah. But I just love telling stories. Yeah. Whether it's with the sack of putty or if it's with all these lights and Curious Incident. You know what I mean? We're just lucky to tell stories.
Well, this seems like such a great start for you because it appears that you won't have to put on a production hat because of the talent you have here on stage. It'll probably be enough for you to continue working in this community.
Yeah, it's a beautiful play and a wonderful group of human beings that I've gotten to work with. We started rehearsals back in February, and so it's this little family we have. It's a pretty small company, and so we've gotten to know each other really well, and I feel lucky to work with them.
So tell me what happened where were you when you got the call?
I got the call. Yeah. So I had auditioned for the part back in November. At the time, I was doing 42nd Street at the Fulton Theater, and auditioned in the morning. I got a call back for later that afternoon, and then my dad and I were driving back. We're on the Schuylkill Express, and I got the call. I was on my way out of the city, and that was where they offered.
You're take the next exit.
Yeah, no, I started crying. I mean, I had no idea that this was gonna happen. I mean, I remember being at the audition and everybody had jeans and hoodies on, and I'm sitting there as well. Yeah. And I'm sitting, everybody in the room. Some people are currently studying musical theater. Some people at very acclaimed colleges, and I'm. The 17-year-old at the time. I was
this guy who just got it.
The youngest, the youngest kid in the room. And then this ended up working out, and I couldn't be more grateful. Really, it was that was a special phone call for sure.
So, how much did you know about the Curious Incident of Dog in the Nighttime before the auditions came up?
I had read the book. It had been passed through my sisters, and. I'd read the book, and I had not seen anything of the play, no bootlegs, no anything, because at the time it was on Broadway with Newsies, and so I was obsessed with Newsies.
Yeah.
At that age, and so I really didn't know it was a play until I started auditioning for colleges, and I was looking for repertoire for monologues, and that popped up. And that was when I realized that this part, Christopher, would be one that I would love to do right now. But I had read the book going into the audition room, and that was kind of the extent of how much I knew about this play.
Yeah.
Before I went into the room, at least.
I can't remember if I saw it first and then bought the script. Maybe I went and bought the script. Or something, but I do remember reading the play version of it, and saying it's right here on the page. It's everything I saw. It's everything I thought. This is how I thought we would enter into Christopher's head, and I just thought it was so amazing, and beautiful, because there are no real explanations of why Christopher sees the world this way.
Yeah.
And that's great, because we're just saying Christopher is just an amazing kid.
Yeah.
He's much like all kids, and we just find a way to understand seeing the world through his eyes.
Yeah, Christopher, he's a beautiful human being to hang out with. I've been lucky enough to hang out with him for a while. and it's so what's so special for me is meeting so many different people that have been able to connect with Christopher and relate with him and find parts of themselves in him, and just so many walks of life. I mean, for me specifically, I definitely connect with Christopher's journey of trying to become independent. He's a young boy that is trying to work in a world that doesn't understand him, and just trying to become independent. And so when he's trying to learn how to use the trains, I'm just trying to learn how to use the SEPTA. So for me, like Christopher's journey is one that a lot of people are able to connect with, and that's what makes him such a beautiful person, and what makes this play such a universal message that people will be able to connect with. Yeah, and that's special because rarely do you get to work on pieces of theater like that. Yeah.
And it's also great when we get to see high quality professional piece with local artists in it as well.
Yeah.
Just shining all over that stage. We're looking around, going, "Hey,
yeah.
Hey,
oh,
okay."
We're so lucky. Oh my gosh, we're just from lights to sound to the set to putting all that together. I remember when we did our first run through with everything. How much of a joy that was almost like a celebration of all of these things collaborating. Yeah. Because it's a massive show. At least the way that we've produced it. So no, it's exciting to when all that comes together, especially at this level. Because I remember doing research early on after I had found out about Christopher, and you search up Christopher Boone, you search up Curious Incident of the Dog, a bootleg, and you'll find like high school stuff, but nothing compares to something at this beautiful of a rate.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the rehearsal process. Because I feel like this piece is brought to life by the lighting and sound. Because once those things are added, now we really get inside Christopher's head and see that. But could you feel that in the rehearsal process?
Yeah, it was interesting, and the rehearsal process was a very collaborative process for all of us. It was an open room for a lot of ideas to come through, which was special for me, especially as a young artist, because I feel like I'm getting an extra year of college because it's like a master class. Yeah, this company. This company of people I've been lucky enough to work with. They're just insanely gifted in talent. Justin Lujan, one of our storytellers, he is the head of acting at UArts, and Jane Ridley taught movement at Penn State for almost a decade. Yeah. And so it was a wonderful, wonderful rehearsal process. But you're right. Once we added those lights and sounds, it just elevates it. It really makes it. The play itself is a beautiful, thing to read. But saying it out loud and getting people that are so. I feel lucky to work with these people and have it being able to be shown in Philadelphia, and that was felt even through the rehearsal process. We rehearsed. We started back in February, and our first performance was March 12th. So we kind of had some time in the rehearsal hall, but no, it all changed once we got on stage and started getting lights, and because that really is our biggest intent was to use that to illustrate Christopher's emotions and what's going on in his head and how he's feeling, and that's only driven not only through us but also through these wonderful effects and lights and sounds and things. Yeah.
So we know that Christopher has such a detailed focus on everything he's interested in. But how are you at math?
Oh my gosh, I'm definitely like an English history person. And luckily enough, though, the math problem at the end, the big math appendix at the end, I remember that was the first thing I wanted to memorize. And it's not a hard problem. It's something I've definitely done on like a PSSA.
It's just the work. We're seeing the work, and that's why it's so mind-boggling.
Yeah, but am I a math person? No, not really. I definitely am better in English class and history.
Yeah, I think it's a great device that we get to see him work out the math problem.
Oh yeah,
because and I also like how the play sort of pokes fun at the fact that an audience isn't going to want to see the math problem.
Well, and it catches a lot of audience members off guard because you've gotten to the end of the play and everyone's, the bows are happening and you think you're over, and then you get to see this, this young man now accomplish this problem.
Yeah.
And it's just a testament to his journey and his self-development over the past 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Because I never leave the stage.
Yeah.
it's a long time to be on stage.
So let's talk a little bit about direction. Talk about Mr. Van Horn.
Yeah, Bill. Oh my gosh, Bill Van Horn's just an incredible director. We're very very lucky to work with him.
Are there particular scenes that you, I guess do you have favorite moments in the piece?
Once the show starts and that big light cue goes, it's like we're like shot out of a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just go. And I feel like I never get to really stop. I definitely building the train is a very fun part for my show.
Mm-hmm.
It also reminds me that I'm very close to the end of the act. But I think my favorite part of the whole show is the journey from to Swindon to London.
Mm-hmm.
At the start of Act 2. That's very fun. Meeting Sandy at the end of the show is definitely a highlight too, for everybody I think involved.
I feel like as soon as the lights come up, there are parents who are saying, "I thought this was a kids' show." There's a young adult in it.
Yeah, it's honest. I really like to say it's a show for everybody.
Yes, it is.
From families to I just think this is a story that so many people are able to connect to because it showcases the relationships we have with others and our trust and just a lot of themes that carry on far more.
Mm-hmm. I always think about any production that I've been a part of. I always take something away. Like there was a show where everything was about a girl who liked pink, so all the characters had some element of pink. So I took away some pink from that show. There was a show that I did that was about that was set in a Chinese food restaurant.
Okay.
And so I learned how to use chopsticks because of that show. Is there something from this production that you've noticed that you've taken away because of your involvement in it?
Physically or
physically, mentally, emotionally?
Physically, I'd love to take away my red shoes. I do. I love my shoes, but now I know how to count my prime numbers. There are a lot of skills. It was definitely the numbers that I took away from early on. But I'm learning so much from this experience as an actor and as a storyteller that I'm taking away new things every day. It's difficult to pin like one thing.
Yeah.
But no, I'm learning a lot from Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a wonderful guy to put my shoes into. 8 sometimes 9 shows a week. But
what's the name of the pet rat?
Toby, my pet rat. I know. I wish I could take Thelma and Louise. They alternate. They alternate. That or Dublin. We're very lucky to work with that bunch.
I love the scene at the station on the platform.
With
when Toby is lost.
Oh yes, down in the.
First of all, I'm in my head going, aren't there a lot of Tobys?
Yeah, no, that's such a fun scene to play, and Justin and Sarah are just masters of everything they do.
Yeah,
and they're so funny, and they shine in that moment. Her mohawk.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I would take that away.
And those boots.
Oh yeah.
Yes. When I saw that costume, I was like, that's it.
Oh, all of it.
We need all of this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That. Oh, and
costume designers. Some of those pieces are going to be missing. You're going to have to go to Sarah's.
Yeah, that's definitely the one. Nope, for sure. Yeah.
So there are some matinee shows, and are those kid heavy? Like, what are the audience responses like? Do you get a chance to engage with any of the audience?
I've met a lot of audience members after shows, and it's always been very heartwarming for me. Whether it's someone has said, you were so fantastic, now I want to come back and see it again, or whether it's, I can't tell you how much I've connected to your performance, and meeting people afterwards is always a big thing for me, and it's special. I mean, to meet people that really 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 connect with this play and this story, and yeah, we have wonderful audiences at the Walnut.
There are characters that are done right in a play or a musical are just always so dynamic and engaging. They're always they're meant to be on the stage, and they're always unforgettable. How do you prepare to embody Christopher?
Yeah, he's a very very well-rounded human being, and very realized in this play. Very thankful that we have this wonderful book to go back to, because if I'm ever confused or wondering, how Christopher's feeling at a certain moment, it's right there. It's in this book, Mark Haddon's novel, and I've almost used it religiously, like going back to different moments. Because what's wonderful is everything that's needed is scoped out for you, right? I mean, it's right there in his words. Christopher explains, what he likes, what he doesn't like, what makes him emotionally overloaded, what he loves, what angers him, what he's confused about.
Yeah.
And so the book is just a wonderful first place to go. But I've been lucky enough to work with all these wonderful actors who have long careers, and so they have also kind of helped. If I ever wonder, what's going on, I'll go to one of them, and they've been helpful through the process. And physically, it's a big show, and so I'm lucky that these years of dance have helped. We do get some very physical theater.
Oh yeah,
in the show.
There's a lot of movement in there that's very this is somebody in the audience is going that's some Pilates right there.
Yeah,
definitely holding some poses.
So I'll stretch, and I'll
become one with the breath in this scene.
Yeah, I stretch. I'll do some vocal warm ups before the show. I got my straw. I'll do my warm ups. I'll definitely go over some of my monologues, because Christopher does talk a lot in the show.
Yeah. Do you find yourself just quoting Christopher at all?
His view at this at the world is so refreshing that there are many times in a day that I say, I wonder how Christopher would look at this. And so I do kind of find that sometimes in the day.
Yeah. I think what I appreciate the most about him is that he's more logical than, he's definitely emotional as well, but it's when his logic is being sort of questioned or sort of challenged that the emotion sort of kicks in. But he's such a logical thinker so that I can relate to that more, because I'm always trying to think about I understand that we might feel like we should do it this way, but logically it makes sense to do it this way. And I think that's the part of Christopher that is interesting, in that we can either find in ourselves or maybe hope, maybe sort of wish that we were all a little bit more logical.
Bit more like that, yeah. And it's showcased in the play too. I mean, there's many times that he explains, why he thinks something is and something isn't.
And sometimes it's very specific.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but very simplistically explained. And
yes.
It's like, oh,
that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's a great.
Like dealing with the neighbors and when he's playing detective.
Yes.
Which is really fun for him to play detective. He just has this click in his head. He's like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
And then he just jumps into like every sort of story of a young a teen who's sort of figuring out the world, but at the same time just sort of challenging himself.
Yeah,
everything that he knows and everything he's trying to learn.
Yeah, he definitely sees himself as a Sherlock Holmes in a couple moments. And any obstacle he faces, he always finds a way to get around it, and that's something that is inspiring, not for me, but for many people.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What do you think you'll take away from this experience? What do you think will stand out the most?
It's been a long time since I've done a role like this that is so full of heart and so just full circle. I mean, I get a wonderful 2.5 hours of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, definitely stamina-wise, I'll take a lot from that, take a lot away from that. But emotionally, too, I mean, this is definitely a role that has challenged me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the lessons I've learned through the rehearsal process, through tech, through previews, through now running, we're almost like a month into performances, what that's like to do something so emotionally draining for 8 shows a week.
Yeah.
Because I'm a pretty emotional dude, so like to suppress, kind of to put that into Christopher, it's a lot, and that was something that got to me in the rehearsal process once we had fully assembled the show for the first time, because I was like, wow, like we did it. I did it. You know what I mean? Like, this is Christopher's made this journey, but also this is also my journey as well. And so I'll take that away the most now that and I keep on discovering new things about Christopher. It's exciting. we get so much time to work on this show. Yeah. And we've gotten so many weeks of performances that I'm always discovering new things, and that's for an actor. There's nothing cooler than that. And so if anything, I mean, I'll take that away the most. Yeah.
And this week is a 9-show week, right?
Yeah, we kind of cycle between 8 and 9. Mm-hmm. I think after this week we'll be 8 shows for the rest of the run. I'm pretty sure. But the more the merrier. I love telling the story. I really love working, with all these people and meeting, wonderful.
So what do you do at the end of the day? How do you come down from this high, or how do you relax and rejuvenate for the next day?
I picked up the guitar like a year and a half ago.
Cool.
And so that's always been like a de-stressor.
Mm-hmm.
And once after the show, you'd think I would just like go right to sleep. I mean, that I would just be so tired. But honestly, I'm so full of energy that I'll go home and I'll like maybe make a snack or something and watch TV. Really, I've been going through some Netflix comedies.
Yeah.
I was watching BoJack Horseman.
Cool.
And now I'm on Big Mouth. And so those are.
Oh my God, Big Mouth. Yes.
That's the.
That Valentine's episode was just.
But if anything, that definitely works as a distressor on top of playing guitar and.
Definitely.
And, no, that's my. I'll roll out after the show. I have my foam roller and I'll do that before I leave the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually one of the last people to leave the theater. I'll stay in the dressing room and play like. Billy Joel and the Beatles and Jason Mraz, and just some just to like clear the air, and then go home and we get to do it again.
What do you play on the guitar?
I actually I picked up the guitar because I started listening to Glenn Hansard, who was the composer that made Once, the movie musical. So I love that kind of music, but I'm still picking up my bar chords and getting around the fretboard. But mostly just pop songs, and from like Shawn Mendes to Ed Sheeran to the Beatles.
It's all current and new. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love the guitar. It's definitely my number one way to de-stress from the show.
Cool. And on your one day off, what do you
My
do?
Mondays, yeah. I'll take the train back to Lancaster, and I take my AP Gov test.
Yeah.
And just relax, and enjoy that day. It's always nice being home. I get to see my dog, Sally.
Cool.
That's always great.
Who's a little jealous of Dublin?
Yes, I know. Sally would not be able to be on stage for sure, though. She'd be all over the place. Dublin is very calm and very chill, and just sits on my lap. But no, my dog Sally she'd be wondering why there are like hundreds of people out there. But I always miss my.
She's like,
my
I'm
dog.
sorry, I can't be present because there's so many people's faces to lick.
But we always make a point to have dinner as a family, and the one day that we're always back, and I get to catch up on I'll hand in my scholarships, and then I'll go back, and I'll take the train back to Philadelphia and get my groceries and get ready for the week.
Cool. So this is your senior year. So I guess the workload is a little bit lighter. But how are you balancing the two?
Yeah, it's kind of wonderful because this last semester of high school is very open, and so when Christopher became a thing, and when Curious Incident entered my life as something I knew I was going to do, starting February to the end of April. I went to my guidance counselor. My school was super accommodating to the fact that I would be here in Philadelphia, and so I take the credits I need to graduate online. So I'm taking I'm taking AP Gov online, and I'm taking childcare online.
Great.
And then I'll come in and check in with my teachers, but it's very easy, and I get to do it online. And then once we're done, I'll have the month of May. I'll take my AP Gov test. Hopefully I'll get an A-star. And then, I'll get to go to prom and, walk at graduation with both my sisters, not just one.
Oh, great.
And, just be a kid. And so.
Oh, that must be awesome. You get to go, you'll be a senior with all of your siblings.
Yeah.
And you get to go to prom all together.
Yeah. No, so it's whereas in other productions, when I was like a junior in high school, it was difficult to balance studying for tests and, but really, now being in Philadelphia and where my course load is, it's awesome. I mean, it really couldn't be the coolest way. I mean, this is definitely like the coolest way I could spend the last semester of senior year.
Yeah.
Living in Philadelphia and doing the show. It's really, I feel very blessed.
So you are pursuing musical theater in college.
Yes,
right?
yeah, I'm going to be...
It would be crazy if you were going to be... I'm going to be a history major.
Yeah.
What?
My brother's actually... He studies history at Gettysburg.
There are people who would kill you to be on this stage right now.
I am. I'm very excited. I can't wait to... So many times, I've loved, growing up at public school and doing that. But I'm excited to go to class and study what I love and what I'm very passionate about. And so I'm excited to find that home.
Yeah.
And commit to a college. And then
are you leaning towards one or the other?
It's I was lucky
you
enough
gotta
to
wait till. Did you submit already?
Yes, I've heard back.
Responses?
I've been very lucky enough to have a lot of offers and
great.
trying to figure out where. But May 1st is that decision day. So I still have a little bit of time. But I'm excited.
Gonna be mad since you've been wearing all their apparel.
I wear so much college apparel. I mean, even colleges I didn't even apply to. It's definitely in the wardrobe for sure.
We got a lot of mileage on that photo since you've been on stage at Walnut.
No, I am excited. I'm excited to have 4 years to really, rediscover who I am and where I fit into this wonderful industry, and just train. It's exciting.
Well, this is a great start. I mean,
Thank you.
It's interesting that this is arguably your bottom. Your bottom is the main stage of Walnut Street Theater.
If that's my bottom, I'm very, very lucky.
That is so great. So, congratulations for making the wall.
Yes, I'm on the.
I've been
chat wall.
in and out of this building since 1997.
Wow.
And I have never made the wall.
Someday.
But I made it. I had a very terrible audition once for the apprenticeship, and I never looked back.
Never looked back. Oh man. Well,
I've been in and out of this building since 1997. It's been great. I love being in Langworthy because I can look at
Surrounded by all these
the
shows.
first show I experienced here was Levy en Bleu.
Oh, wow.
All the way back there with Jeff Kuhn was in the lead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then to be able to look and see how many of these productions I've been so fortunate enough to be able to experience in very good seats. Thank you, Communications Office.
Certainly is an honor to be up on this wall. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for taking the time to come chat with me.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me sit down with you and have a conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The production is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, and it is on stage here at Walnut Street Theater until the end of April.
April 28th.
April 28th.
Yeah.
And you can get your tickets by going to Walnut Street Theater. That's theaterre.org, and you should get more than one because theater is more fun with a +1. Austin Nedrow, thank you so much for taking the time. It was great chatting with you.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
And
It's been a
can't
joy.
wait to see where your career goes from here.
Thank you so much.
Promise that you'll come back and talk to me.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Okay?
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
cool.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Head on over to our website at www.broadstreetreview.com and click Get Involved at the top. While you're there, help keep us running and click Contribute to find out how. Connect with us on social media, on Facebook and Twitter at Broad Street Review. Thank you for helping to keep the conversation going.